We have presenting with us is Shane Cornell, and his topic is Glide to Soar. A little bit about Shane. Shane is a change maker who earnestly believes we are all capable of the extraordinary and that attitude is a choice. Having only just survived a massive paragliding accident at the tender age of 25, he, along with his wife, went on to climb Africa's 5 highest mountains during a 9-month period spent living in a tiny Suzuki 4x4. As part of a sponsored expedition they organised to promote cultural and environmental awareness. Following his brush with death, Shane firmly believes each day is a gift, not a given. And his reason for surviving is to help others find personal inspiration and build a better world. He's passionate about the environment, to safeguard this for his daughter, her generation, so that her generation can experience the wonderful world that he has seen. A confused engineer, Shane has strived to make the world and inspire change through personalities as an explorer, a renewable energy professional, and now as a speaker. He is an author and a photographer of numerous published works. It's my absolute pleasure to introduce to you Shane Cornell.
Have you ever felt that you need to fight for every achievement, as though contentment and happiness are unrealistic hippie ideals? I have, even though I am part hippie. We all have. Now, it's hard for my A-type personality to accept, but I have found that the summits of personal satisfaction come not from doggedly fighting for every achievement, but from focus and knowing when to go with the flow. True success arises from accepting and embracing the difficult situations which are an unavoidable part of life. We need to learn to glide through the rough times in order to soar. Mindfulness, which is based on the same premise, has shown profound benefits in numerous clinical studies, from increased cognitive ability, better memory, stress reduction, and the list goes on. Ironically, I first learned to soar after nearly dying in a paragliding accident 2 weeks before my 26th birthday. I was just flying. The mountain range stretched to the horizon. I could see the curve of the world when bang! A mini cyclone hit my wing, knotting it, sending my stomach through my mouth and me spiraling towards the mountain 150 meters below. I threw an emergency parachute, but at the last second, a gust slung me straight into the mountain. Seconds later, I knew my life had changed forever. I lay between 2 rocks, broken. Unimaginable pain radiated from my back so strongly that I hardly noticed my clearly mangled ankles. Knowing that my back was likely broken, I fought the intense need to move with everything I had. I bit my hands, I pinched my face, I even banged my head on rocks just to try and stop myself moving. The 1 hour that it took for the first person to arrive was the longest of my life. After emergency surgery, I was wheeled back into ICU. As we entered Dante's hull, we passed my anaesthetist. Good news, your spinal cord is intact, but it's badly bruised. You should walk again. I broke down completely. 2 weeks later, clarity dawned. I was buggered. I couldn't roll over. I had to get suppositories just to poo all over myself, and it felt like lava flowed in my veins. Negative thoughts grew. You are going to be here a long, long time. You won't walk for months and will never run. Why me? I felt depression threaten. In that moment, I realized I had a choice. Regardless of how I felt, I would be there a long time and not walk for months. Flying was incredible and I did not regret it. I had a choice to allow myself to sink into negativity's spiral, or to smile and glide through it because I was alive, because one day I would walk again, and because nearly dying had taught me the gift of life. It was a no-brainer. I chose to glide. I chose to accept my situation and focus on the silver lining. As a result, I chose to soar. Gliding soon became my new way of soaring. Accepting the responsibility for my situation was what got me to a place where I could embrace the difficult situation. Shortly thereafter, I quit a stable job in Cape Town to move to Johannesburg for a job which offered growth. When a couple of months later, our whole local team got retrenched, I glided through it onto a mountain bikepacking mission in Lesotho, despite having just relearned to walk. My fiance and I then decided to use my retrenchment payout to buy the world's smallest 4x4, which we plan to use to travel Africa. We then glided through setback and sink to make that dream into a sponsored expedition. And finally, for 9 months and for 25,000 uncomfortable African kilometers, we lived in that tiny 4x4 while climbing to the top of Africa's 5 highest mountains. We summited the highest mountain in Kilimanjaro, the 5,900 meter volcano, only 2.5 years after I lay mangled on the mountainside. Now the point is that I am not special. I am human. Just ask my wife. Though I know that the summits of personal success can only be reached by accepting the difficult times, I still often fight. Each time I do, I try to remind myself that the only way to reach that personal success that I'm striving for is first to glide through those tough times. Now today, I challenge you. Next time you feel stuck in a hole and are cursing contented hippies, stop and choose. Will you glide through life's tough times in order to soar to the summits of your success?